So today's lesson is lesson 12.2. We're going to talk about surface area of prisms and cylinders. So the first thing that I want to remind you is that you name a prism by the shape of its base. So if you were to look at the prism to the left or below, you would see that the base is a pentagon. So this would be a pentagonal prism. Remember that a prism has congruent, the definition of a prism is that it has congruent bases. The height of the prism is the same thing as the length of the altitude. The other thing that I want to tell you is that the sides, so like this right here, the sides of a prism are always a parallelogram. Now, I know that that sounds weird that I say parallelogram, but it's because sometimes prisms are not straight up and down. Instead, they are kind of slanted. This would be called an oblique prism, and this would be called a right prism. So when they're straight up and down, they're right. When they're slanted, they're called oblique. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about surface area. And surface area of a prism is broken up into the lateral area, which is the sum of the area of the faces. And then we add, to find the surface area, we find the sum of the area of the faces, and then we add the two congruent bases. So the formula for lateral area, and you're really going to start to appreciate this, the lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height, whereas the surface area equals the lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. So we are going to start by finding the lateral area and the surface area of the prism. So every single time, I encourage you to do this, every single time I do a problem like this, I make a list. First of all, I need to find out the perimeter of the base, capital P. Next thing I need to do is find out the area of the base, capital B. Then I can find the lateral area and the surface area. Every single time I follow these steps. All right, so first of all, let's find the perimeter of the base. Well, here's the shape of the base. This is a triangular prism. So there's a right angle right here. This is a 6, 8. I have to find out the measure of this. Well, I could use Pythagorean theorem. 6 squared plus 8 squared equals x squared. But I could also remember that this is a 3, 4, 5, so I know that this measurement is 10. So the perimeter of the base, 10 plus 6 plus 8, is 24 centimeters. Now I want to find the area of the base. The base is a triangle. The area of a triangle is 1/2 the base of the triangle times the height. So half of 6 times 8, which is also 24, but this measurement is centimeters squared. Now I'm going to use the formula to find the lateral area. Remember, the lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. So the lateral area equals 288 centimeters squared. And that's what the question asked for. And then I need to find the surface area. Remember, the surface area is the lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. So 288 plus 2 times 24 is 48. So the surface area is 336 centimeters squared. All right. Let's look at another one. So this next example is a hexagonal prism. I have a hexagonal prism, and it tells you that it's a regular hexagon, but it doesn't give you any information except that each side of my regular hexagon is 8 and the height of my prism is 20. So again, same method. I need to find the perimeter of the base. I need to find the area of the base. Then I can use that information to find the lateral area. And then I can use that information to find the surface area. All right, well, perimeter of the base is easy. It's a regular hexagon. That means that each one of these measures of the side are 8. So 8 times 6 is 48. So this is a 48 meters is the perimeter. Area of the base is a little bit different. I am going to attempt to draw a triangle in here and remind you of things you know about a hexagon. A hexagon divided up into triangles forms 6 equilateral triangles. If I were to drop a perpendicular there, this would become 4. Because these are equilateral, this would have a measure of 30, this would have a measure of 60, and this of course is a right angle, so that means this is 8, and this measurement right here is 4 root 3. It just so happens that that measurement is the apothem, and I know that the area of a regular polygon is 1/2 AP. So 1/2 times A, which is 4 root 3, times the perimeter of the shape, which just happens to be 48. So that actually becomes, if I leave it in terms of a simplified radical, half of 4 is 2. 2 times 48 is 96 root 3 meters squared. So my lateral area, remember, is the perimeter times the height. So 48 times 20. 48 times 2 is 96. So 960 meters squared is my lateral area. My surface area is my lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. So 2 times 96 root 3 equals about 1,292.6 meters squared. So I had to find the area of the base using, this is all stuff from chapter 11 information, finding the area of the regular polygon first. Okay? All right, next example. So now let's find the lateral area and the surface area of a cylinder. Very much like, a cylinder is very much like a prism. The only difference is the bases are still congruent, but they're circles, and the faces aren't necessarily parallelograms because they're curved, but the concept is the same. So lateral area, well, it's this measurement right here, which is circumference, 2 pi r, times my height, 2 pi r times h, or pi times diameter, which is still circumference, times 8. And then the base, pi r squared, I have 2 of them. So the formula right there. So we are going to use the formula to find the surface area and the lateral area of a cylinder. So again, I am going to find the area of the base. Then I will use that to find the lateral area and then the surface area. So the area of the base. And I'm going to keep my answer in terms of pi because that makes our life easy. So the area of the base, well, it has a radius of 5. So 5 squared is 25 pi centimeters squared. The lateral area, 2 times pi times my radius times my height. 2 times 5 is 10, times 1 times 18 equals 180 pi, my units, centimeters squared. Now I'm going to find the surface area. So the surface area, remember, is 2 times the area of the base, which would give me 50 pi, plus the lateral area, 180 pi, so it equals 230 pi centimeters squared. Our last example, a word problem, and then we're not going to do lesson 12.3 today. So a manufacturer currently uses a rectangular prism with dimensions 12 by 8 by 4. So 8, 4, 12 to package their product. They want to change their shape to a cylinder. However, they wish to use the same amount of material, that's surface area, or less. What are the dimensions if the base has a radius of 5? So the first thing I want to do is find the surface area of this rectangular prism. So area of the base, 8 times 4 is 32. So my capital B is 32. The perimeter of the base, 8 times 2 is 16, plus 8 more is 24. So if I wanted to find the lateral area, 24 times 12, which is 288. The surface area, lateral area plus 2 times the base is 288 plus 64, which is 352 inches squared. So that is the surface area of the shape that they're currently packaging their material in, the rectangular prism. So I need to find the height of this cylinder that they're going to use, and it has to be less than 352. So let's see. The surface area of a cylinder, 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. I know that the radius is 5, and I want it to be equal to or less than the 352. So 2 pi times 5 times the height, which I don't know, plus 2 pi times 25. All right, so we're going to do some simplifying. 352 equals 10 pi h plus 50 pi. You'll see that I can take a 10 pi out of everything. So if I were to take a 10 pi out of this, 10 pi equals h plus 5. So I'm going to divide both sides by 10 pi. So when I divide 352 by 10 pi, I get 11.204 equals h plus 5. Subtract 5 from both sides, and I find out that my height has to be less than or equal to 6.204 inches. All right, so that's your lesson for today. Focused on surface area of cylinders. Remember the steps. Always find the perimeter of the base, area of the base, lateral area, and then surface.